Hey, Ryan Black here, and if you're watching this video, it's probably because you want to find out what the best way of getting a girl's number is if you're doing day game approaches during the day in some kind of natural way. So this is one in a series. If you're just coming to this sort of randomly from searching, I highly recommend taking a look at the previous videos, which cover an enormous amount of the approach up to that point. Because fundamentally, if you're trying to get a number, but your mindset isn't down and you're coming from the wrong place, you haven't really stopped her the right way and you've kind of freaked her out a bit, and you haven't really gotten to that good of a conversation, that things aren't really flowing, then if she does give you a number, it's probably because she just wants to get rid of you, and it may not even be a real number. Sorry, but that's the truth. That's what happens, and I'm saying this from experience. It's happened to me. So definitely worth going through the rest of them in the series before you get to this one. Otherwise, as useful as it may be, it probably won't be as effective for you. So if you're here because you've watched all through the rest, then welcome, fantastic. And we're at that point now, right? So we've stopped it the right way, we're coming from the right place, we're in the right mindset, we've transitioned, we've got into conversation, and we've used that 3-step pattern that I spoke about, right? Our mindset about in the conversation itself, about giving her the space to open up, is where we're coming from, and we've actually gotten into what's a pretty decent conversation. Like, things are going pretty well. She's saying stuff about herself, you're saying things about you, maybe making a couple little jokes along the way, but just leaving that space, and she's telling you things about herself and really opening up. Things are going well. Okay, so we know that our intent there is fundamentally to get to know her so we can see her again, so we can get a number and see her again. So the most important thing is not to see the number as some kind of goal in and of itself, right? Number doesn't really mean anything. It's just a way to get in touch so you can schedule seeing each other again. So the first thing is, it's always a good idea, especially if things are time sensitive, if you're in a new city, if you're only in town for a few days, if it's like a Sunday afternoon when people don't really have much on, it's worth checking what she's actually doing. Because maybe instead of getting a number and then saying goodbye, you could go straight for an instant date. Yeah? So as we've gotten a few things out of her, it's worth being like, what are you doing right now? If you haven't already found out. Because maybe she's like, oh, nothing, I was just kind of walking around. And I've had experiences where that you might call same day lay or whatever, right? But like meeting a girl on the day, having a chat for a bit, she's not doing anything, I'm not doing anything, we both just go somewhere, grab a drink, and then go back to my place, and the whole thing happens in an hour or two, right? That is possible. Even during day game, if you're listening, if you're getting her to open up, and then you're actually aware and like, wait a minute, just to ask, what are you doing? Because maybe it's nothing, and maybe you can go straight for the instant date. So that's a possibility. Most of the time, you're maybe lunchtime, Monday, Tuesday, you're at work, and she's got to get back to work. There's nothing you can do. Or it's Thursday afternoon, Friday afternoon after work, you're on your way home, meet a girl, she's probably getting home because she has to get, shower and change, get ready for dinner, to go out, and then go out to a nightclub or something. So, it's doesn't always, not really usual that you're going to be able to go on an instant date, but it's worth asking. So knowing that, we know that we want to get this number for the reason of seeing her again. So how do we get this number in the most effective way? Well, the least effective way, right, is out of nowhere, seemingly for no reason, after a conversation that meandered around about nothing for a while, right? And even if your conversation lasted for 20 minutes, if you talked about nothing, if you just talked about shoes, because that's what she talked about, if you didn't really get it to open up about anything interesting, you didn't find anything about her, and you're just like, okay, give me your number, then you might get it, but it won't be very good. It'll probably be flake. So that's the worst way, right? Out of nowhere for no real reason. And often, if you're going out and doing this, you'll have the experience, if that was the sort of the content of your conversation beforehand, where you go, okay, give me a number, and she goes, why? Right? Why should I? And if you're getting that, then you know why. It's like, well, what have I found out about her? What's the reason? If you have a real reason for meeting her again, it's unlikely for that to happen. So what we're looking for when we are using that 3-step structure to try to find out about her, we're trying to get, ideally, 5 things, right? 5 things, at least 2 or 3, ideally, depending on, time. But if you can get 5 genuine things about her, not what she looks like or whatever, but personality things she's done, places she's been, experiences she's had, passions that she has, things she wants to do with her life, amazing accomplishments that she's achieved, whatever it is, 5 of those, that's probably the most deep, realist conversation she had with a guy, maybe ever. So go for 5, see if you can do it. Once you get 5, the best way to get that number is to actually kind of recap. All right, really just be like, listen, I need to shoot off. It's always good to say that you're leaving first. I need to shoot off. It was amazing meeting you. And because, I can't believe you've done this. And, it's amazing to meet somebody who, has this accomplishment and wants to do that and is really passionate about this. And somebody else as well as me who, is into this thing and does this. Right? It's like so rare. Everybody else is really just not on that same level, then on that same wavelength. It was so cool meeting you. We have to see each other again. Let's exchange numbers. Okay? That's a better way. An even better way, that's still pretty good, an even better way is one of those things that you're both into, one of the interests that you both have or whatever, naturally leads into a date idea. So you're both into health and fitness, she's in her yoga leggings, I love health and stuff like that. So in the conversation we're talking, oh, so cool to me, blah, 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 and you've done this, and blah, 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 and you're really into your health and fitness. Have you been to that new juice place down on wherever? And he's like, oh no, I haven't heard about it. Oh, it's amazing. We have to go. Listen, let's exchange numbers, and we'll sort it out, and I'll see you there soon, sometime next week. Right, even better. But notice I'm doing a few things, right? What I'm doing when I'm getting that number is I'm making it a logical consequence of the conversation we just had. I'm making it obvious. It's obvious. Of course we have to, because of all this stuff that we just talked about, of this connection that we just made. And even better, because of this plan that we have. We have to, in order for that plan to happen, we must exchange numbers. And I love that use of the word exchange rather than give me yours. Right? Give me your number feels like it's value taking, even though it isn't really. When I say let's exchange numbers because of all the stuff I just said, it feels very oh yeah, I'll give you yours, you'll give me mine. It's equal. So it's a really good use of that word. So it's really cool to meet someone who says blah, 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 restate the stuff that you like about her. So ideally, if you can, make a date based on that specific. Have you been to this? Have you tried that? Have you been here? And she says yes or whatever, and you go, great, we have to see each other again. Let's exchange numbers. And that is the best way, whether a day game approach or not, to get the number in the most effective way where she's going to be the most likely to see you again. So that's the main thing. Before I go, one last thing. Guys, especially in America, English people, when you've met a girl, she's given you a number, this is a romantic interaction, kiss her on both cheeks before you leave. Do not hug. Do not shake hands. Don't be polite and like that. This is a romantic interaction. You're sexually attracted to her. It's a really good idea to leave off that interaction with a little bit of a spike, something a little bit sexual, a little bit romantic. Kiss her on both cheeks as you say goodbye with that number, and off you go. All right, I hope that was useful. Again, comment below, let me know, tell me what you're doing, tell me what's working, tell me what isn't, tell me if you disagree with me. And to make sure you get the next one, which is going to be all about setting up that date via text, subscribe below. Thanks very much. See you soon.